Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Tokyo here as we just saw DRX manage to stay alive. Breathe a sigh of relief, everyone. At the very least, we get one more game between these two teams. But if there's one way that you want to close out a game, Bren, I would have to say DRX looked rather clean at the end of that one.
Yeah, I think it comes back to an earlier point I was trying to make, which was, it's you know, listen, we've criticized DRX for being quite rigid, structured. Yeah. The ideas are quite obvious of what they're running. It's one thing to know that, it's another thing to actually do anything about it, because they are really well thought out and they do have layers to it. I was a little bit annoyed that FUT weren't going for more of that like B main control on the second half, because they did it the one time and they only lost the round because Zest ended up clutching.
And that's the thing, I feel like they had the right ideas, but it ended up going wrong for them. And that, I mean, look at the post plants. They only won 2 out of 9 of their retake attempts while playing full retake on A lot of the time. And even when they were anchoring, getting caught by the duelists coming from sand, like, they just couldn't figure out the right thing. But here, I'm talking about the crazy stuff that happened. Yeah, I mean, this was, what did you call it? John Wick on them.
No, bro, this
My
is
guy's Marcus Phoenix.
I played so much Korean ranked and they are so bucky pilled, it's unbelievable.
But also, this situation, like Zest wins a 1v3.
Yeah, this was it here. I mean, again, if Kiwi gets half there, I think they still win the round.
Yeah, they do.
But when DRX were forced to adapt and change that really rigid but solid game plan that they have in their post plant, they were really pushed. But yeah, it's too solid, I think, on that map. It's a really good idea that they have in mind when they play it.
And here's RB's stats on the Neon. He's not going to be playing Duelist on map 1 or map 3, but here he is playing his classic character, probably the best Neon player in the world, and takes it to Kiwi. 6-0 in first kills to first deaths. Now, Kiwi was 8-0 on map 1, right? And he ended up being 3-3 here. So, like, you know, they had a Duelist that was able to step up, and what a difference it is having him there instead of Foxy9. And I know Foxy9 doesn't play the Neon, so it does work quite differently. Yeah. But Foxy9's always, like, way out in front compared to the rest of the team. RB tight with the utility, even though they're going for those all-in execs still.
And again, it just comes down to, oh my god, look at what they're capable of when they've actually practiced and prepped and have the right idea of the timings, right, with this roster, because they practice this a ton. This is the lock-in comp, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's nothing new that they're showing here on the stage at Masters.
They ran one fake.
Yeah, they ran one fake.
That was quite cool.
But they are not really showcasing anything else, no evolution of it, and it comes down to the fact that they have been splitting this timing and the roster the entire time. You're not getting that consistent practice, and it really has hurt them. But
what does that
win
mean
the map
for map
out.
3?
What does it mean for map 3? I think there's a couple of things to look forward to here, because Haven, I think, is kind of a middle ground for both of these teams. And we know FUT, they talk about it in interviews, they say it all the time, they're such a confidence-based, momentum-based team. And I think Kiwi's just had a bit of a bad game. The coaches were saying as well after that first map as well how important it is to get a couple of ones rolling as well and get snowballing. I think DRX are in a pretty good spot right now, actually, to try and close out this series.
I think if you are DRX right now, you at some point you have to believe that this is possible, because you kind of go in that first game really just meandering about, not really finding much success, and then you start to see what the core, Josh, of what this team is capable of doing in map 2. Surely they're going into this Haven with confidence that they can close out the series. Not confidence that they'll win the tournament or like thinking too far ahead. I think they can genuinely believe in themselves to win this game, because they do have what it takes.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, the problem is, it just comes down to, I think on game 1, the individual talent's all there, but their game plan was awful.
Yes.
So they're not able to do anything. Map 2, their game plan's pretty decent and their individual play's excellent, so they get it over the line. Haven, I think that their game plan normally is looking quite decent. So I think I do favor DRX towards the end, and that's got to be gutting for FUT.
The funny thing is, as well, you're being highly critical of DRX in terms of not being understanding how to like pump fake, how to like bait out the defensive util and then re-hit when they have that advantage, and they've kind of pulled that out of them. Haven is such a big map, it forces you to do that. When you're trying to take A, you can't really rush into things
That's
too
true.
often.
Yeah.
DRX's attack side on this map is the side that typically looks the best. And I think it's because of that. It forces them to actually play in that way, where they're taking their mid rounds to break some of the util in garage or mid or whatever. They take their time towards A lobby or whatever else. So I really do think that DRX should be favored here on this last map.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see you guys for the half. But for now, though, we're going to send it right back over to Doug and Baller to bring us home.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Haven to decide it all, Baller. Remember, this is an elimination match. For one of these two teams, the tournament run ends on the other side of this.
Why are you so happy about it?
It's exciting, man. I'm fired up.
Yeah, we get to send 2 teams home again today. 2 more teams to punch their tickets to playoffs. And DRX, historically, it's been there for them. They've always made it to playoffs in the last 2 years. They haven't missed once. The only time they did was back at Champions 2021. Such a surprise to see them even in this position. And FUT, a chance to be the first team since SMB way back to really do some damage in a group stage. And with the pressure off, they've already qualified for Champions at this point since yesterday. With the pressure off, they look to do damage against DRX of all people. That would be a shift. That would ruin the pick'ems for many.
FUT on the attacking side, they run the Gecko, which has just fallen out of favor for most, but they still believe in it. They still continue to run this comp. We'll see if they can find success against DRX here. Because it seems like they're expecting aggression, and honestly, FUT are right. DRX have already sent 2 down mid. There's a setup for Stacks to hit with the fault line too. He can provide support from B.
For Mr. Fallen to expect that angle out of Buzz is crazy. But Buzz does get the better of him in terms of HP. It's dry walks from both sides now.
It just feels like it's just going to be so much poking and prodding from both sides. You're right. Contacts, dry walk, see what you can find. The shock dart just a little off. But the fear is instilled.
I mean, he's low HP. One tap will do it. So that's why he's so scared.
The alarm bot cutting things off, but it's a 4-player flank from DRX. Maj is only going to have to deal with 2. But he might have his hands full anyway. Yep. Mako clean. How much more can they find as Buzz gets a second, trying to spam through, and that's, you can't ask for much more of a retake for DRX.
That dart is perfect out of Zest. And the pressure too much for them to even deal with that dart at all. Buzz with the dash into a smoke as well out of long. That is really, really nicely done. 4-person flanks. That's crazy, isn't it?
It's bold.
And with the space that they had at the beginning of the map, yeah, sure, take that space, go for it. Go extra. Mosh had a lot of work to do. Krax was completely stunned up, couldn't really deal and help with him. Not only is that dart lighting everybody up, but it's also lighting up the players down in hell.
Yeah, that dart was beautiful.
So good, out of Zest. They're getting going early.
It's exactly what they need, and you talk about getting going early. A Vandal in the hands of Buzz, round 2. Doesn't look like he's going to be tested. As FUT with their 5 pistols towards Garage for now.
Traded stuns. What is that? Turret's not even broken yet, but it does allow Krax to take down RB. Breaks up the crossfire. Or creates a crossfire, I should say. Mako here to hold on.
Mako's playing a mini game, having to shoot all utility out from the skies, from the floor beneath him. Somehow still staying around. Zest swinging through, and that should clean things up.
Scratching my head at that smoke. For Mr. Fallen on spawn. They give so much room for the DRX players who were already within it to pounce out of it. Yeah, it's anti-eco though, not the biggest of deals. DRX expected to convert. You're right though, Mako. That's the key thing with this Gecko composition, with Gecko compositions in general. You want to try to combine it with shootable utility. The thing for him is, and for FUT, it's surprising, but the only real thing is the util out from Krax. They try to combine it with nano swarms for Maj, but mostly just to try to land the nano. Not necessarily to get the flash off. I'm surprised at the amount of success that FUT have gotten with that fact. 4-2 on this map. It's a good map for them.
Here we see some of that utility combined with the aftershock and the dizzy.
Clears the complete left side of that site, so Mako has to play on the right. Smoke going to be up soon.
And he's just going to fill in the space that they thought was cleared. He tucks right back behind it. And he has a teleport. He can get out if he feels too much pressure.
Now RB up close now. They're going to try to fight together.
With the Bucky right out of the smoke. He's paranoid, but the wingman doesn't spot him. He doesn't spot him at all! RB with 2! Robbed of the third, courtesy of Mako. Finally landing it, switching weapons and getting them all. A Prime Gaming flawless for DRX.
3-0 with the circus act from RB, juggling back and forth between the shotgun and the Vandals. And the follow-up for FUT. I mean, they used so much util at the beginning of that round. And yeah, they have a second wave. But they're literally repositioned from DRX's directly into that space that was cleared from FUT early on. When they used the aftershock, when they used that mosh in the back left of sight. FUT back down to pistols. Yes, they've had success, but you can't continuously rely on the thrifty rounds to come through.
No, that has to break eventually. And this might be where it breaks. Buzz going aggressive, looking to finish him off, as is DRX. And they're teed up for it. One away from another flawless. Buzz looking for the kill, and he's set up for it, but RB takes it. But another Prime Gaming flawless for DRX. Is there a 4-0?
That's crazy. I got to see the scoreboard here because it's got to look brutal for FUT. We got a glimpse of it. 3 kills total. 3 kills and 3 Prime Gaming flawlesses from DRX. Talk about a form shift. Maybe this was their playground the entire time. I've been saying this historically has been so good for DRX over and over and over. They come to maps against formidable teams and they make it really tough if not taking it. But they're only 3-3 this season on it. 50% win rate.
You wouldn't think it with how they've played these opening few rounds.
That's interesting. Maybe it's because Pacific knows their tendencies on this map.
Note here, Krax has his ult. And keep a close eye on that.
Great shot from RB. Instantly takes down the Zizzy.
And stays alive.
Stun and flash used to keep them in that position. RB's got to get off of sight to play retake now. Especially with the... Oh, he's going to... Hello?
He repositions and he's cleared. Doesn't matter. FUT still gets what they want.
For the first time in that execute, looks like there's so much coming at you. There's so little to do if you're the player's backside except get off. I'm surprised they didn't make that decision.
Maybe a little overconfidence putting them in that situation. And yeah, the Thrash was well handled. But you couldn't possibly consider everything else.
Yeah, they just can't hear. I mean, the ground is rumbling, trembling at their feet. You have no clue what the situation is. You could tell they were looking frantic on the site, trying to find the players who were actually hitting close to them.
I wonder if Zest is going to find any exits. Spotted one, and there's just one bullet fired. But the target now found, and FUT are on the board.
Almost the final chance to stop that slow start guys mentioned, to gain some momentum back. Kiwi's just literally on a path to follow up on that Thrash. Straight cutting through the site to follow it. Because you know, if you're right next to it, there's going to be spray into it at the very least. If they're not getting the detain, you're going to be following up on a player who hasn't reset his fire. Going to have to try to spray transfer you, which is completely unreliable.
Gun's still bound for DRX, and you see the money set up for them to really put together multiple rounds.
Up in hands of Buzz too.
It seems like they're just clearing some of this utility in Garage. They don't get it all. You still see one nano on your screen. But it was just the alarm bot. The turret is still B, and the other nano is too. Note here with this hit, it's going to be really difficult to find space for the op in the hands of Buzz. Kiwi has already gotten the kill out onto Sax. And the defense is DRX are friendly. You see him trying to funnel out of the site, trying to flood their way through! But Zest with 2, and Mako does it as well. It seems so labored, it seems so difficult. But they convert.
That push in the A-Link. DRX just spray and spray away. Look at this. Out of Zest.
Wow.
And Mako. I mean, the thing there, I'd love to see that as from FUT's perspective. Because that Aftershock, I think, was probably obscuring their vision. That was their own Aftershock. In through the front of that link, they did not smoke it because they were just in the middle of pivoting to hit the B side out of surprise.
It's so difficult to make sense of all the static on the screen in instances like that. And that proved to be the window for DRX to convert. What a hold. I mean, essentially a 2v4 there.
Yeah. Timeout for FUT right now. They will have another gun round, despite being reset. Kiwi with knives. Time to start finding a way to start dealing with Buzz's op, which really hasn't been a factor so far. The first round was last time. Got the final kill. But they need to start thinking about where he's going to start posting up. He has so many different ways.
It's funny, I get that. But you're right, he's such a dynamic player with the op.
I think getting up on top of the cinder blocks and short, he's one of the first Jets I saw doing that. He's very, very hard to anticipate. And for him, it's going to be down short. Potentially an opportunity to find Mr. Fallen.
Yeah, Zest with the lineup, with the fault line to provide cover and allow him to take the angle, but the rest of the hits headed towards C, and RB greets him.
Yeah, FUT's been so focused on funneling and fragging into garage.
Buzz still on this line for now.
The fact that RB able to get that against the Knives players, against Kiwi, it's crazy. And there's no follow-up because the Molly's perfect for him. And going back to that line, though, for Buzz, that, I think, is where they're going to end. Otherwise, Mr. Fallen's going to have to go on a crazy lurk, and he's going to get caught. Ooh, maybe not.
It was just the foot, and he doesn't land it. Pushed off of it for now. He's going to continue to explore. Meanwhile, once again, to hit towards B, and Stacks with the hold.
What a flash out of Mako, too, helping outside of garage. And they know where Mr. Fallen was moments ago. Remember, Buzz had a little engagement with him. The thing is there's no flash to help. So Stacks is freely able to just walk into sight, and because of that fast pivot that they're trying to do, and especially with Mr. Fallen lurking at that point, he doesn't have a second smoke to cover both links at the same time. DRX is completely ripping them apart because of that.
And RB's gone hunting for it. With 13 seconds left, Mr. Fallen, you see the money. It's not great for him. He wants to preserve this weapon. Keep the Phantom into the next. There's no help, RB. It's just you here. Actually, that fault line from really far away is nice. That's well done. Another prime gaming flawless for DRX. What is that, 4?
4. 4. I mean, you keep counting, you might end up finding yourself the most in a half like this. Here's what I'm saying, though. Stacks, no util thrown his way at all. FUT, for this composition, you cannot start to rely on those dry fights that you saw a lot of on Bind.
Yeah.
Especially on attack. Maybe on defense, you can do a little bit more of that. Trying to find the defaulting players, isolated. Where's the shift in strategy here? It's like we're watching the ASC game all over again. They're going right back in to try to challenge RB, to try to break the util inside a garage.
But DRX are ready for it. The paranoia, the stun. Kiwi's dead again.
That's like 3 times he dies first in the exact same thing, and it's the same lurk for Mr. Fallen. This time it might find value. Where's Zest? Nothing.
Right in between the eyes.
It's desperation right now, too. It's like a delayed call to come into A. Mr. Fallen almost had the line in. And even when he dies, they continue forward. It won't let them the site this time, but remember, the retake was perfect for DRX on this pistol. Oh, and they've got tools. Full house of ults.
Just wonder how much desperation FUT really feel here. Do they dare invest one of their ults in an attempt to secure this? It's such a difficult decision. You're down 5 rounds in an elimination map. Traded Buzz, drop the weapon, drop the op. Went for lighter weaponry, but it's Zest who cleans things up.
Yeah, he swapped it with Stacks, who's throwing util in the backline. That aftershock kill's too good, and Buzz dropping down actually completely locks him in there. It's kill or be killed. Actually, in that instance, it's kill and be killed. There's no way out.
Yeah.
This is flat from FUT once again, and just so strong from DRX. I mean, full credit to them to be able to show what they showed on Bind. Disjointed, no ideas, form missing. Mako's at the bottom of the leaderboard in that first half of Bind. Now to this, everybody firing on all cylinders. And RB continuing that Neon form on Killjoy, the flex on this team. It's working greatly. There's finally a shift for FUT.
There are 2 on this side, but he's going to get smoked off. Remember, DRX still have 5 ults to their name. None of them invested in the previous round.
They might ult this, because they had control of short. You know, opt not to. Might be the Jet who got tagged, but Buzz here.
He's got the dash up. He's got the op in hand. Target's close by. Found. And he gets away. Looking for the second, not converted.
Nice play by Kiwi in the one-way. Buzz gives it to him. Showed a little leg. Slow things down though again, FUT. Gonna go for an execute.
Mosh pit. Almost exactly following the paranoia, and Sax is in trouble here. Has to reposition. And he does. Zest and Sax holding the site. Mako's there too! We're off the rails on this one. DRX are stomping FUT.
I think DRX stepped on this stage, lost that first map. And now they're looking at us and they're all saying, you really thought.
Y'all thought.
Y'all really thought. And it's funny because in that first game, well, I looked at them and it maybe looked dejected a little bit. They, at some points, were still smiling, laughing, knowing the map veto.
It's funny that you say that too, because even watching them, DRX walks right by us when they're walking off the stage, and even watching them walk off the stage on Bind, it was all smiles, all fist bumps. Their spirits were up, and maybe what you're saying is that they know the map pool, they know what's before them, and they know that they can convert.
Well, don't forget that little comeback, that tiny little comeback. They brought it back to 12-9, or 13-9, don't forget.
And so since then, it really has just felt like all confidence for DRX. And on the side of FUT, I gotta zoom in on what's happening right now. They're down 7 rounds in an elimination match, still the first half of Haven, and they've used both timeouts.
They used both timeouts. First one didn't even get any value. In fact, I'd say it was anti-value. After the timeout, they went for the same garage take like 3 times in a row. I mean, Kiwi went 8-0 in first kills. Yeah, you want to try to enable that guy to do damage, but like that, where he's getting split up every round against RB, was definitely not the play.
Still 5 ults for DRX. They've had them for what feels like an eternity.
What is that TP? Are you kidding me?
Just by himself.
What? What is going on right now?
He did find 2 big ones, and that felt like I'm going to make a play. He did, but can they convert around it? Those pistols really don't feel like much.
Off your feet.
They are investing so much.
This game, I mean, this game might be over when Buzz just does some things like that, and also FUT is, what is that play? Yeah, Mr. Fallen, you get 2 kills, okay, sure. What is this play? I mean, I like it. Actually, that's cool. The stun from A-Main off of the TP allows him to get those 2 kills. That's a detail that we missed. But I don't get the follow-up.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Why is there no push onto A if he's going for that? It's like you're trying to pull rotates, but the C players are about to rotate into B. If you're going to do that, you better go towards C in that case.
And not to mention, now they're on a gun round, and they don't have Rolling Thunder to work around.
Oh, the Thrash is stunned. The ult coming out too. He might actually get tagged by that.
He's already gotten one. Mr. Fallen from up top, and he's ripped right back down. They still have 2 numbers here. That's well done by Kiwi. Get him to a 2v2. They don't have the spike, though. It's out of reach. Can Kiwi creep his way forward? Trying to play around the crowd burst. Spike gathered, and it's just momentary. The stomp continues.
10-1 on the final map. And everybody rolling. DRX is not going to let this slip. DRX is not going to exit groups. Not like this. They're keeping this up for sure.
It's just so crazy to think about the juxtaposition we're seeing with FUT. And yeah, it's map dependent, I understand that, but in this series alone, it looks like 2 entirely different teams.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Might be a fast CXX here. Insta smoke on the window. Kiwi again going to send his life forward.
Nope, the last 3 rounds have been very fast, very pacey.
Does have space for this lockdown now. Out of Maj. But they're pushing in front.
They are, and you see the Jet try to take high ground. It's brought right back down. Once again by Mako. Pressure train to the skies as RB pushes in, gets 2 from Logs. Leaves Maj alone. 1v4 turns to a 1v3. Has the lockdown to play around. But way too many targets to deal with.
What a flash that was from Stacks. For Mako and RB to do work. That is beautiful. That's what you expect from a DRX Haven. That's what you expect from a DRX in group stages. Where has this been? Maybe the sub, as heavily as it's been criticized, is exactly what they needed down the line in long term.
11-1 in favor of DRX, and the rest of this, barring some insane miracle, is just a formality. Golden Boy, take it away.
You know, to quote award-nominated analyst and commentator Bala Timothy Williams, it's Jover. Some might even say it's by done.
How many more have you got there? All right.
They have no chance to come back.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I didn't need more.
You asked, so I just gave it to you. Anyway, point
is over, though.
This is not good.
No.
But it's also showing the same issue that FUT had yesterday against attacking Seoul, or against attacking Seoul.
It does feel very similar.
Where
It's
are the layers?
Yeah, it's also the 3rd pistol round in a row that DRX have won, which isn't helpful at all for FUT's chances. And then they kept the momentum going by getting Bucky kills on the bonus round. I mean, FUT are just such a momentum-based team. Frankly, they lost Haven in the second half of Fracture.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the first half by making mistakes.
Elaborate.
Because if they had avoided making mistakes on Fracture, I think they would have been in a better headspace heading forwards, or maybe even closed it out in a 2-0. As soon as it gets to map 3, they're already out of it. Like, you see their player react, they're smiling because they know they're still going to champs, but they've essentially given up at this point, I think.
Yeah. Bala said, where was this DRX the entire time in the group stage as well? I'll tell you where it was. I mean, it was with this iteration of the roster on half of the maps, because they've essentially just been splitting the practice the entire time. I keep hitting this point, but my God, I have never seen such fluctuations in form from map to map, and even half to half with a team before.
I mean, this looks good,
especially
though.
this caliber. Imagine they've essentially come into Masters Tokyo with half as much practice as all the other top teams. That's what they've done by messing around with their roster this much. And look at how good they look when they've actually played a map where they're not really being... Listen, they're not being pushed as much by FUT. I think FUT are playing a pretty atrocious attack side, and now we're going into DRX's better side of Haven as well. This map is done. The series is done. We're essentially doing our post-show now. But yeah, I'm honestly... whatever, GB, take it away.
You know what? Well, hopefully for FUT's sake, you aren't talking to us too quickly. Let's send it back over to Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. Yeah, Bala, it's always dangerous when you hear someone on the desk or on the cast say something so definitive and so decisive.
I know,
like,
and it's everybody.
Yeah, we're done, right? It's
Welcome
over.
to the post show. It's me, Timothy Williams with Esports Douglas. A pistol will close it out. FUT, EMEA's 3rd seed. We saw Na'Vi, the 4th seed, leave yesterday. And FUT right now on the precipice of doing just the same.
Another EMEA domino poised to fall. This one at the hands of DRX. RB taking the space, and you can see the intent for DRX. You had RB on one side, you had Buzz on the other, and they both find kills. Fully splitting things up, but Cracks nicely held. They're gonna try to get back in against the spike of Buzz. What? How does he get away with that?
I love Buzz. That guy's crazy too. Okay.
That was well done. Kiwi never saw him.
He just came in on the flank. And Bosch was just spamming him through the wall that entire time. That's ridiculous. It's like he was tracking him. Yeah, you're right. Josh, yeah, the smiles are there for the FUT players. They've already qualified for champs. Maybe that was a goal for them. But I can't help but think, what I said at the beginning of the day, where that doesn't even feel like it's an achievement for them. Obviously, yes, it is over the grand scheme of things. Their season allowed for that. The fact that they're here at Tokyo, but was it really them? Who got them there? Yeah, they got the win, but you think Na'Vi should have gone much further.
Stacks focus on the turret. There are bigger fish to fry.
There's 2 marshals on an anti-eco right now. It's like we're playing ranked. And when you need to snowball the bonus, those sorts of things. That one is a head scratcher.
We had a couple of those. DRX cut noise and now push forward. RB falls. Off the paranoia. It's well handled though. This is still very doable. You're now just having Kiwi show up, but Captain holds him back with 4 on his own. Dashing forward into the ace. Oh, he almost had it. Still has the shot at the classic, and it delivers. Consolation prize, all things considered, but an ace nonetheless.
Captain gets crucial ace while down 11-3. It's an Navera moment with the cheering. And I don't know which one I want more, the knife coming out of Kiwi right here, or if I want the ace. You already got one. That would have been ridiculous. Okay. Look at this from FUT. We're getting in the round right now, and they're going super aggressive down middle. Aftershock through. Breach ult down mid.
Where?
Excuse me, they're in spawn and he's stunning them.
I mean, okay, they're rotating back.
Dude, that's
keeping the space up.
I don't know why. They had them in spawn, every single player. I mean, if you ever want to illustrate the concept of map control, they would have had the entire map right there.
It's crazy too, because they invested as much as they did. And it's not just going to be equally exchanged.
I think they were having fun in that one. I think the initial execute, where they're aftershocking stuff, that stuff is definitely planned. They run that. That's a bonus round that they do. But then the breach hold is just crazy.
Off of what?
Stacks holding things nicely. Looked like he had just sidestepped that Captain's stun.
Yeah, he did. I was wondering where Captain's stun was off of, but he just randomly throws it and doesn't have the information about where Stacks is positioned, so he's in front of it.
Cracks up in heaven, looking for a life to take with him. Instantly smoked off. The spam not finding it. Masha's to push forward with this. Well done to handle Buzz. A Cracks 1v3 would be something special here. 1v2 now. Tucking into smoke and then popping right back out, but the spike is becoming a factor. Time is not on his side, and neither is his health. DRX gets to 12.
Probably the toughest group stage ever for DRX. Known as group stage demons. But they've got to figure something out. And this match looks like they have. 1 round away now, it's match point, it's series point. 1 round away from exiting groups, going over towards playoffs. 1 round away from sending FUT home.
It's crazy though, for FUT in the face of a beating so devastatingly defeating, still smiling.
Did he just spam it?
May have.
He just spammed it.
Yep.
Yeah, you see the bullet still on the wall. Like it's chalk outlining his body. They really think that they're pushing down mid, just like they did on that bonus. Cool little spam too from RB in the case that that was true. DRX is not taking this any differently than they have before. Not allowing this lead to slip whatsoever, I think, is in their best interest. So this is the classic C exec. DRX has been running this forever. It's so good. Buzz has so many different lines he can take. And they just go for the basic. There's nobody even here to receive. Kiwi has a judge.
Okay. Buzz down. That's a start.
Playing the post off of Stacks Rolling Thunder. Mr. Fallen has smoke here, though, so I'm not fully sure if I completely agree with the idea right now.
Where's that? He has a shock, too.
Especially how close they are.
Smoked off. Mako playing up close in Cubby. RB with the Nano. So it's now 3 pieces of utility to consider. The Rolling Thunder, the Shock Dart, and the Nano. They're going to get it the whole way. Oh, the Nano! Half! There's the Rolling Thunder, pushing him forward. The fight taken. So far, the fight won. It's that one. That would have been a finish. But alas, we play another.
They were both stunned up. I don't know how that stun was thick. That thing was thicker than Josh's mustache. That thing was crazy. You saw the spam there, RB with the Nano. That thing came really late too.
Those Mosh heroes are insane. Just to even get them to that point.
And also that breach ult coming from Stacks. He rotated Garage rather than getting a head-on breach ult that will hit everybody.
Kiwi's through and short. And there's help with him. Dodge the paranoia. Well done.
It's a low buy here from DRX. Knives of Buzz, though, could put an end to this thing, and they might just do that.
Just now taking damage after getting 2 kills. Are the knives what decide the series? This broken buy is broken no longer. They've all upgraded weapons. At this point, FUT feeling like they're 6 feet under and just waiting for the final procession to close things up, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Cracks pushing forward. The Blade's not doing it, but Stacks does. DRX obliterate FUT and punch their ticket to playoffs.
It was labored. We really thought there was a chance. We really thought there was a chance. And DRX might fall in groups. We already saw one legendary team yesterday fall in groups, but not DRX. At this point, you can crown them the group stage kings. They will go 4 events in a row, qualifying for playoffs.
With the hunger for a bigger crown still out there. They've been here, they've done this. And as you were saying, it wasn't easy this time, but they got there. Now they can turn attention towards what's been so elusive to them.
And honestly, DRX always comes back stronger out of trials and tribulations. Another bout as that spectacular Haven sinks in. Remember at the beginning of that, what was it, 5 Prime Gaming flawlesses?
Yeah.
Just disgusting how they were doing things to FUT.
Yeah, they got their money's worth in that first half, didn't they?
And I think that substitution, bringing Zest back into this roster, I think it's a little bit more consistent. Even though Foxy9 is for sure a star in the making. Might take some time to see him there on stage. Joining in the celebrations. Bigger matches to come. Bigger fish to fry now for DRX.
So tough too, because again, you go back to the decision of subbing Zest in. And at the beginning you go, oh, this looks rough. I mean, was a mistake made, right? Should they have been going with Foxy9? But he individually played exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I mean, even on the Vine, he looked fine.
Honestly, he might have saved them on Fracture.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he looked fine on Vine. Maybe after the entire game, once the comeback happened. But that first half was dreadful. But from everybody on DRX. So yeah, you're right. In relation to that, yeah, he looks fine. The thing for me is I don't know, I want Foxy9 to get a few more reps here on such a global stage. That's where people grow. That's where you made stars of Buzz and Mako. Remember, they were just random Jet players playing for random teams back before Vision Strikers picked them up and turned them into the stars that they are now. It's crazy as well, FUT got so far here in this group stage. But every single time you saw them struggle. I think this loss as well, you saw it towards the tail end, having fun with it. When the pressure's off, this is where they need to work on. It's moments like this, having fun to be able to bring yourself back into games like this, being able to bring your focus back.
Again, DRX managed to exit group stages after beating in map 1. They closed things out 2-1 over FUT. We're going to a break. We'll be right back.